Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. It was going to happen, so the Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin pay-per-view, as well as the Derek Chisora and Oleksandr Usyk pay-per-view, both have been rescheduled. So this was a move that always looked likely, with boxing having been cancelled in March and April, and the situation with the global pandemic only worsening. And in the United Kingdom, where these events were to be held, it is still one of these things where it has been ratcheting up in recent weeks. So to have these events in the best part of a month for Dillian Whyte and 7 weeks or so for Oleksandr Usyk and Derek Chisora, always likely that it was going to be cancelled. The British Boxing Board of Control, looking at this closely, they were going to be coming in over the top, especially since they can't actually at the moment have medical staff on hand. They have been all hands to the pump with this pandemic. But the statement from Matchroom, and then I'll get to a couple of thoughts, because I still think that the rescheduled dates may be optimistic, but also when boxing does resume, there could be a couple of issues as well. But getting to the Matchroom statement, see here on screen, Matchroom Boxing schedule update. In line with the British Boxing Board of Control and government guidelines relating to COVID-19, Matchroom Boxing have postponed all events scheduled to be taking place in May, including Dillian Whyte vs Alexander Povetkin at Manchester Arena on May 2, Lee Selby vs George Kambosos Jr. at the Motorpoint Arena Cardiff on May 9, and Oleksandr Usyk vs Derek Chisora at the O2 in London on May 23. Subject to the developing situation, Whyte's interim WBC heavyweight world title clash with Povetkin has been rescheduled to Saturday, July 4th, while Selby's IBF lightweight world title final eliminator against Kambosos Jr. has been rescheduled to Saturday, July 11th. Tickets will be valid for these rescheduled dates, or refunds will be available from your point of purchase. A new date for Usyk's blockbuster heavyweight showdown with Chisora is also being worked on, with tickets remaining valid for the rescheduled date once announced, and refunds available from your point of purchase. And it goes on, just concluding a couple of paragraphs here. The health and safety of the boxers, staff, event contractors and fans involved with our events remains the top priority for Matchroom Boxing, and we thank everyone for their understanding. We look forward to bringing world-class boxing events back to these shores as soon as it is safe to do so. Our thoughts are with everyone affected by the COVID-19 outbreak at this difficult time. So Matchroom postponing their May events, so two of them big pay-per-view heavyweight cards, Whyte Povetkin and Usyk and Chisora, rescheduling the Whyte one for July. Now, I guess, we've seen Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce also rescheduled for July the 11th at the O2. I do wonder, though, is that just a little optimistic as it stands at the moment? And some people might be thinking, come on, it's, 3 months and change away. But, a couple of months ago, this whole COVID-19 thing was just something on the periphery. And you think how sort of quickly it has evolved, how many cases are coming up, and a lot of countries, including the UK, are still right in the thick of it. So this could be a situation with the virus itself. And don't forget that once this thing sort of flattens out, as they keep saying, flattening the curve and trying to reduce the number of cases, it could be a number of months where authorities want to actually have things either lockdown or close to lockdown type conditions, because they're trying to sort of halt the spread of it, make sure that it can't sort of, permeate right through different populations. So I could see, some restrictions, and we've even seen different comments and statements by people in the media and scientists and experts and other bits and pieces saying, say in the UK's example, restrictions to some extent could be in place for the best part of 6 months. And here in New Zealand, where I am, we're 5 days into a 4-week lockdown. It doesn't feel like this thing is letting up anytime soon. But, we'll see on this. But the other thing I was thinking about in relation to this is when it actually sort of eases and we can get some boxing back, what is going to be the appetite in terms, I'm not saying about television viewing here, because I think there is pent-up demand. I think when they do have some cards coming back, there is going to be a lot of interest, and even some bang average cards will get very good viewing figures. But in terms of people going to an event right now, and that's the thing, because health authorities have been constantly saying that once you start lifting the restrictions, you could have clusters sort of coming again with people having the virus. And especially if you're packing 20,000 people into an arena, there is the chance that there could end up being a cluster from that event, something like that. So there may not be necessarily the appetite for people to go to shows directly, but I guess this is where the behind closed doors with maybe a limited crowd or no crowd with just the appropriate sort of officials and other support staff, including the ringside doctors and other medical staff like medics, etc., that you would need to have. But I guess in terms of that situation in the UK, you can't actually have, doctors ringside at the moment and medics, and that's partly the reason that events in recent weeks were cancelled, even before it got bad, just because, you need to have those people there, and they're sort of being put to best use because of this pandemic and what's been happening elsewhere. So in the health service, they are just absolutely vital and needed at the moment. So will that situation change in 3 months? I don't know. It just might be a year of postponements and then followed by re-postponements. I have seen a lot of commentary from different fans in different videos in recent weeks saying, well, we might be writing off the best part of 2020. Mid-year, the summer in the UK might just be an optimistic sort of, we want to have a fight then, but it may not end up being possible. I've seen people saying 2021, you might be able to just write off the rest of the year. Hopefully, it's not going to get that bad. I mean, I know as a sporting fan, and not just for boxing, but sport more broadly, it's weird right now. And especially for a sport like boxing where there's no off season, it's 2 or 3 weeks since we've had anything to really sort of cast our eyes over. I mean, I've been keeping busy making videos, of course, and other bits and pieces, but it kind of is, it's a strange situation. I don't like it. I would want to see, some boxing on, but, not at the expense of the fighters or people associated with the event. That's the thing. Right now, it's a whole sort of stay safe mantra. Being at home is not being confined, it's staying safe. So, Matchroom releasing their update, and that other fight, Usyk and Chisora, no date yet. I had seen in a couple of reports in recent days they're potentially looking at August or maybe later. At the moment, it might just be wise not to schedule a date given everything that's going on. And the other thing as well was Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev, speculation that will be moved. They have another date in July that they have been talking about. Even that may be optimistic. So I guess that would be the next domino to fall. But in terms of what's going on, it's not good, but it is what it is in this current environment with everything that's happened. So all I can say to you is stay safe, and the videos will keep coming. May not so much be daily or weekly news because that's not as much around at the moment, and it is going to drop off soon. Even if you follow social media, you'll notice many of the boxes that you follow are just starting to sort of quieten down. And some of the loudest and squeakiest wheels, they'll get some coverage and they'll say some things and it'll get eaten up by the media because there's not a lot around. But it's a shame what's going on, but stay safe. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.